In the second paragraph, we describe the first collection, which is known as Sutta Pitaka. Sutta means discourses. So they are not collection of the discourses that the Buddha gave to the people as well as the celestial beings in the human world. So in this, the Sutta Pitaka, the Buddha explained his teachings by using common vocabulary that we know. And so he described his teaching in the general way. Just like when we say taking 3-4 refuge and taking 5 precepts. So these are included in the Sutta Pitaka. And then the next is called the Vinaya Pitaka. So Vinaya means the disciplinary rules for the monks. So here the Buddha used his authority over all the monks to lay down the disciplines, the rules which should be abided by the monks. So they are actually the highest code of ethics, we say, the highest moral rules actually. So the monks, by observing these moral discipline, they maintain very pure morality and they become worthy of worship by men and gods. Now the third collection is called Abhidhamma-pitaka. So that is about Abhidhamma actually. Both Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma-pitaka, they describe the teachings of the Buddha. We call the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha. But Abhidhamma, Abhid means, the Abhid means higher, more, more marvelous, more in detail. So usually we call Abhidhamma as the higher teaching of the Buddha, So in Abhidhamma, the Buddha, he analyzes all living beings and non-living things into their ultimate components, which can not be divided any further. And he called these as ultimate realities. So he described his teaching in terms of these ultimate realities. So in Abhidhamma. So we say to understand the teaching of the Buddha, in depth, we have to understand Abhidhamma. So just you learn like the Sutta Pitaka, the discourses. You would know only the general description, which is something superficial, you might say, because using only common vocabulary. But even in the Sutta Pitaka, the names of these paramattha, the ultimate realities, are present. But to understand them, then we have to understand Abhidhamma. So actually, only when we understand Abhidhamma, we really understand the teachings of the Buddha. And there are some misunderstandings. And actually, some say, since the Buddha taught Abhidhamma only in the celestial realm, Abhidhamma is meant only for celestial beings, not for human beings, they say. And then there is one version. And another version is, they say, Abhidhamma was developed only after the Buddha passed away by some learned monk, they say. So these are not correct. They are not correct. Now, the Buddha taught Abhidhamma, the focus of Abhidhamma in Taotim realm. In Taotim realm for 3 months continuously. continuously. So he taught only on the 7th year of his Buddhahood. So that means only after he became enlightened, and then 7 the years after that, he went to Tawatin Sarem and taught Abhidhamma. So the reason is, so actually I described in this book. So just to tell you briefly, all Buddhas, all previous Buddha. So here again, there are some wonderful teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha said many the Buddhas already appear before him. Uncountable number of Buddhas actually appear before him. So that shows that this worldly system have been existing for immemorial times, for many billion years ago. Because the Buddha appear very rarely. So there are many world systems when the Buddha did not appear at all. So our world is very lucky. 5 Buddhas going to appear here. So all the Buddhas taught Abhidhamma in Tawatin Sarem. So to follow that tradition, our Buddha also preach Abhidhamma in Tawatin Sarem. That's one thing. The second thing, the Buddha taught Abhidhamma in Tawatin Sarem for 3 months continuously without stop. So if he taught in the human realm, no person would be able to listen to full discourse. But our 100 years in the human realm is equal to 1 day in the Tawatin Sarem. So the 3 months, our human 3 months, is equal to only about 4 minutes of Tawatin Sa time. So for celestial beings, they have no trouble to listen, to the whole discourse. The celestial beings from 10,000 world systems came to listen to Buddha's Abhidhamma teaching. The Buddha's voice can be heard up to 10,000 world systems if the Buddhas wish it to be. And at the end of the Abhidhamma teaching, 800 million celestial beings became enlightened as noble persons, including his mother, including the Buddha's mother. So actually the Buddha's mother is the Mahamaya Devi, so the chief queen of the King Sudarsana, and she passed away after 7 days giving birth to the Buddha. And she became a celestial being in Tusitaram. So that celestial being also came to listen, and that he also became a noble person. So you can see the benefits is so great. The Buddha, he knew in advance such benefits. So he gave this the Abhidhamma discourse in celestial realm. Now the Buddha also made the effort that Abhidhamma was taught in the human realm at the same time. Now the way he did is, he created an identical Buddha, which is identical to him. And he made this, the created Buddha to continue the teaching in Tawatin Sarem. And he himself came down the human world, the human realm, every day, for alms food. So when he took the alms food in the Himawanta forest, so the chief disciple, No, Venerable Sariputta came, no, flying from the air and then attended to him. So he gave the guidelines of the teaching of Abhidhamma each day in Taotin Sarem to Sariputta. Just the outlines or the guidelines, no, the brief guidelines of what he taught there. But he knew if he gave these brief outlines, Sariputta could teach Abhidhamma, no, very well. So as the Buddha, he had this, the wisdom, no, that we call the omniscient wisdom, he already knew. So that means, no, when the Buddha was teaching Abhidhamma in Taotin Sarem, Sariputta also taught Abhidhamma in the human realm at the same time to 500 monks, to 500 his disciples, new disciples. And these 500 new disciples, they are the monks. Oh, their story is quite interesting also. Now these 500 monks, the disciples of the Sariputta, they were 500 bats. No, the bats mean the night birds, no, that came out at night to get the insects, to get their food. So these 500 bats, no, so at the time of our previous Buddha, that is Kassapa Buddha, no, at the time of Kassapa Buddha, these 500 bats, they lived in a cave in the Himawanta forest. And 2 monks also lived in that cave, and they recited Abhidhamma Pali every morning. So these 500 bats, the bats, they have very sensitive ears. No, they listen to the recitation with respect, though they don't understand anything. So if you can, no, listen respectfully to the recitation of this Pali, no, the Buddha's teaching, actually it is the Buddha, the Pali, you are developing moral minds. No, moral minds by many billions every second. The same thing now, while you are paying, no, the attention to the Buddha's, no, the teaching that I'm reciting to you, I'm teaching you now. So just by listening this Dhamma teaching, you are also developing moral minds by many billions every second. So, no, by listening, no, every day, these 2 monks are reciting, so they accumulated many billions of the good karma. So when they die, they all were born in celestial, the Taotin Sarem, no, as celestial beings. And they die there and appear there again, reborn there again and again. So up to the time of our Buddhas, no? So up to the time of our Buddha. So at the time of our Buddha, they were born as human beings. And the Buddha, just before he went up to Taotin Sarem, he displayed, not the twin miracle. But the twin miracle is, no, it is regarded as the highest supernormal power. So producing fire and water simultaneously. No, from one eye the fires come out, from one eye the waters comes out, from one sweat hole water comes out, from another sweat hole the fires come out. So from the whole body of the Buddha, fire and water, no, come out like that. So the Buddha, he, no, displayed this twin miracle to suppress the non-believers, because they are challenging the Buddha, no, in the supernormal power. Actually, they didn't have any supernormal power. No. So after that, the Buddha went up to Taotin Sarem, no, to teach the Abhidhamma discourse. And Sariputta, he also taught to these 500 monks every day. So with the guidelines given by the Buddha, he reflected on that, no, in many ways, and he could understand the teachings of the Buddha in Taotin Sarem. But when Sariputta taught in the human realm, he didn't teach in detail Now, as much as the Buddha taught in Abhidhamma-classes, he tried to summarize. And he taught what is suitable to the human realm. And when the Buddha finished teaching in Abhidhamma-classes, Sariputta also finished his teaching in the human realm. And these teachings of Sariputta is regarded as, is not compiled as Abhidhamma-pitaka. So, we regard it to be taught by the Buddha himself. So, the Sariputta could teach this Abhidhamma only because the Buddha gave him the guidelines. And what he taught was approved by the Buddha. So, it is as good as the Buddha himself teaching this Abhidhamma in the human realm. So, we regard it also as the teaching of the Buddha. So, it is very, very essential, this Abhidhamma, to understand the teaching of the Buddha in depth. And in Vipassana meditation, we have to see all these ultimate materialities, so arising and dissolving and functioning. Only then we can develop the insight wisdom and finally the path wisdom to attain Nibbana. So that means Abhidhamma is indispensable. And I found Abhidhamma to be the most wonderful knowledge in the whole world. Much superior than psychology, philosophy, and even our science taught in universities. Much higher than them. Much higher than them. Because I could say this, I know that no scientists, no psychologists, no philosophers understand what the Buddha taught. Just like the mind. He analyzed the mind in detail into its components and described the functions of the mind in detail, and which are not known by psychologists, philosophers, and scientists even up till now. So remember those 500 beds. They just listen respectfully to the recitation of Abhidhamma Pali. They didn't understand anything. Even then, they were reborn in celestial realm again and again. And as the 500 monks, when they listened to the teaching of Sariputta, they could understand. And they could understand very well the teachings of the Buddha, the Sariputta. And when the Buddha came down from Abhidhamma realm, then Sariputta and these 500 monks, they welcomed the Buddha in the human world. Then the Buddha just gave a short discourse to these 500 monks. They all became arahats. They all became arahats. So you would do much better than those beds. So when you listen to the Abhidhamma, don't think that you will not understand. No, you will understand. Even if you don't understand, don't worry. So again, you'll be born in celestial realm again and again, and then you can. So in time they become mature, mature in you. Just by listening to the Dhamma, you can become enlightened, to become noble persons. So Namo Buddhaya, we begin the class now. We go to page 20 to the introduction. Page 20. So in the beginning, we describe the 7 treatises of Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma-pitaka consists of 7 treatises. So the names are given there. So you can read if you want to. Dhamma Sangani, Vipinga, Dhatu Katha, Pukala Panyati, Katha Vatu, Yamaka, and Patana. Abhidhamma is actually very, very wide. It's very difficult even not to study the whole of Abhidhamma. But there are many scholars, they try to give the summary of Abhidhamma. And one popular summary is in the fourth paragraph there. So it is called Abhidhamma-classes. And it is written by a monk, an Indian monk, by the name of Venerable Anuruddha Thera. So this introduction is very, very comprehensive. It describes all the essential points of Abhidhamma. And the book in Pali is very thin actually. And we used to say it is a little finger commentary, we call it. Because the thickness is only of the size of the little finger. So in Pali it's very short, very brief. But we use this book in our teaching for Abhidhamma in Myanmar, all over Myanmar. So even the government, our government, they conduct Abhidhamma examination every year for all the people. So using this book, but not in Pali. We translate it into Myanmar language. And I also wrote it in Myanmar language as well as in English language. But when I wrote it, I tried to explain everything that should be known. So this is the book we are learning. So we call it the essence of Buddha Abhidhamma. Only the essential things of Buddha Abhidhamma. But even we know this book about this much, we know all the teachings of the Buddha, all the important teachings of the Buddha comprehensively. So very, very beneficial. So now you look on page 21. So the topic there is two kinds of realities. So the Buddha, the Abhidhamma, first describes two kinds of realities. And the first kind we call conventional realities or concepts. So in Pali, so if you want to note, so we would pronounce it panyati. Panyatiks, so the concepts. So these conventional realities, so you can read there, all living beings. And inanimate things mean non-living things. And the names given to them are all conventional realities. But the beings and the things seem to really exist according to our sense perception. Actually, we all believe that all these living beings like man and the animals really exist, and the non-living things like the houses, the buildings, the tables really exist. That's what we think. We also give the names to them. So when we use these names, we believe that the objects or the beings referred by the names really exist. When we say, today Dr. Mehm Tin Mon taught Abhidhamma-class in Taman Alam Rubini. So you think, Dr. Mehm Tin Mon really exists. You can see me, you can even touch me. So, and the Buddha said it is only conventional reality. Not that what all the people believe that we really exist. And later we will see they do not really exist in the ultimate sense. Though we think the chair to really exist. Now if you just take out the parts, you take this board away and this another. So if you take the parts away, the chair disappears. Like the table, if you take the legs and the plank away, so that the table will disappear. Like the houses, if you take the walls away or the roofs apart, then the house disappears. Now, like living beings, like Paul say, you say Dr. Bond really exists. Please show me who is Dr. Bond. So you can even come and say, so this is Dr. Mon, you will say. So these are just the clothing. Now if I put it out, they are not Dr. Mon. So if you come to say, oh, this is Dr. Mon, you say this is Dr. Mon. You mean the hair, the skin, Dr. Mon? So if I raise it, the hair is just the hair, not the Dr. Mon. No? And then the Buddha said, a person can be divided into 32 parts. So he say, the head hair, the body hair, the nails, the teeth, the skin, the flesh, the bones, the sinews and the muscles, intestines, and then the heart, the livers, the lungs, etc. So if you just break them apart, so the man does disappear. The man disappear. And these parts, actually, they do not exist in their own right, actually. Because when we cremate a corpse, everything is burned, even the bones, they burned, and then only the ashes are left behind. So if you throw these ashes in the ocean, everything disappears. So in that sense, the Buddha said, living beings and non-living beings, they do not really exist in their own right, in the ultimate sense that we say. Now we go to page 22. So in the second paragraph there, you can see the two names in bold type, King Milinda and Venerable Nagasena. So King Milinda is a very, very learned king, and I think he is a Greek king during in Afghanistan. So at that time he was ruled by the Greek council, the kings there. And Venerable Nagasena is an Arahat. He is more learned than the king, actually. So when they met in the kingdom of this King Milinda, so they have a conversation. So the king asked the monk, by what name should I know you? So the monk answered, well, my companions, they call me Nagasena. But Nagasena and the person referred by the name Nagasena do not really exist. Then the king said, well, if you and Nagasena do not really exist, to whom the people offer food and offerings. Since you receive this offering and you use them, you must really exist. Nagisa must really exist. Why did you say a lie in spite of your monkhood? Now the monk asked the king, Your Majesty, how did you come to this monastery? Did you come on foot or by chariot? So the king said, I came here by chariot. So by chariot we mean it is a horse-drawn carriage. Then the monk asked, well, show me your chariot. Is the horse the chariot? No. Is the wheels the chariot? No. Is the axle the chariot? No. Is the body of the chariot is called the chariot? No. Well, is there any chariot beside the horse, the wheels, the axle, and the flag and the body? No, there's no chariot. Well, you said you come by chariot and you could not show me where the chariot is. Why did you say a lie in spite of your high majesty? So the king also said, well, there's no chariot beside the horse, the wheel, the axle, and the body of the chariot. Just a combination of these things. are named as the chariot. Then the monk said, in the same way, you should understand that what Nagasena is. No? So, Nagasena is just a combination of these body parts. Now, only this combination of these body parts are named as a person, as a man, as a monk, or as Nagasena. So when they are taken apart, no man, no man, no monk, no Nagasena, no Dr. Mon. Then you may ask, what are the things that really exist? So at the bottom of page 22, we give you ultimate realities. Ultimate realities. So we can read that first paragraph. Ultimate realities, in contrast to conventional realities, are things that really exist by reason of their intrinsic nature. They are the Dhammas, the final irreducible components of existence, the ultimate entities which result from a correctly performed analysis of all living beings and inanimate things. Ultimate realities are the ultimate components of living beings and inanimate things. They really exist, but they cannot be seen. So that means all living beings and non-living beings can be divided. Can be divided into simpler things, into their components. You just keep on dividing them until you come to the stage you cannot divide anymore. You cannot divide any further. So that is called the ultimate component, not the ultimate component. And these ultimate components are the ultimate realities that really exist in nature. That really exist in nature. And they have no form, no shape. They cannot be seen. They exist, but they cannot be seen. So we say the conventional realities, they can be seen, but they do not really exist. Now, what really exists in all of us are described in the middle paragraph of page 23. So, Abhidhamma describes 4 classes of ultimate realities. So, there are 4 kinds of ultimate realities. So, we give you number 1, consciousness. So, in Pali, we call citta. Citta is consciousness. Now, what is consciousness? It is the consciousness of a sense object, or the awareness of a sense object. So, we are aware of sense objects. By sense objects we mean like the color, the form, the color, the form, the sound, the smell, the taste, and then the touch. So these are called the sense objects. So when you see me, then you know, by looking at my features, you know I am a man. And I'm Dr. Mehm Tin Mon, so you know that by now. You can also hear my voice, and you can also know what I'm speaking. So that means it is this consciousness that knows this sense object. That is Dr. Mon, and he is talking like this, so you are knowing this. So this is consciousness, we say. And when we say consciousness is awareness of the sense object, all living beings, they are aware of sense objects. Not even just like the small insects, we call that, like the ants. So if you keep some cake exposed, very soon the ants would come. And they even have the very good way of communication. So it will communicate to its comrades. Very soon many ants would come. So we know that the ants must possess consciousness. So all living beings, they possess consciousness to be aware of the sense objects. Now, number 2 is mental factor. So in Pali we call cetasikas. Now, mental factors are concomitants of consciousness. Now, you should understand this word, concomitant. Concomitant means the things that arise together. So the mental factors, they arise together with consciousness. No? They arise together with consciousness. And they depend on consciousness for their arising, and they influence the consciousness in several ways. So actually what we call the mind is a combination of consciousness and mental factors. No? So the Buddha, he analyzed the mind, not the mind. So not this mind, no? The mind that exists in us, that exists in animals, and the minds that exist in the celestial beings. No, they are the same. They are just combination of consciousness and mental factors. Just a combination of consciousness, mental factors. Now these mental factors, there are 52 kinds of mental factors. And these, all these consciousness and mental factors, they don't have any form, any shape. No, any form, any shape. And they arise and dissolve very rapidly. They are arising, dissolving very rapidly. They arise and perish, arise and perish. They arise because of the causes. They are the causes that give rise to them. And soon after they arise, they dissolve. No, they dissolve. So they have no form, no shape. So that's why the mind cannot be detected by any science instrument. Up till now, like scientists and psychologists, they don't know what the mind really is. No, they don't know. So when they don't know the mind, they say, oh, the brain is functioning as the mind, they say. No, so that is not correct. No, because the brain is just material thing, and the mind is the mental thing. Now the mental and material, they are separate, they are different. Like mind and body are separate. So mind is the conscious of the consciousness and mental factors. The famous neurologist, an Englishman, I gave the name in my book, Hmat, the Real Creator. So he studied the structure of the brain in detail. And he made the statement. He said, the brain is a kind of supercomputer operated by a ghost. By a ghost, I mean something that cannot be detected by scientific instruments. That is his finding. And we can add the ghost that he said is actually the mind. Actually, the mind controls all our body. The mind controls all our speeches, our thoughts, our actions. So what you do is directed by your mind actually. So we say, like we are moving the hand, we are moving the mouth to say. So now like a science they say, oh, the brain gives the command that the muscle will move the hand. No? So who gives the command to the brain? So now, if the mind does not give the command, so our hand do not move. They just live like that. So only when we want to move, so we can move it. So that means the mind is giving the command to the brain, that moves the hand. And in meditation, actually, you can see the mind produces materiality. We call mind-born materiality. And that materiality actually moves our hand, moves our mouth. So everything is controlled by the mind. So the whole world is controlled by the mind. The mind is the most important thing. And as I told you, no learned person, no psychologists, no philosophers, no scientists know about the mind. Now the Buddha, he will describe about the mind in detail. Now at the bottom of page 23, we describe 6 mental factors. So to tell you what are the mental factors, so that you would know what mental factors are. So No? So you can read now so we describe the Pali name in italics. So in this book, all the Palis I describe in italics, so you can differentiate it. So the first one is Lopa. We already know it in this morning. So Lopa is greed, craving, and attachment. So this Lopa, actually, it influences most people. Most people are under the influence of this Lopa. We are under the influence of this Lopa. This Lopa, since morning till night, always influences the mind, and by that influence us. To get this, to get that, to get this, because greed. So it has a craving or desire for sense object, beautiful sense object. So for good food, for good tea, for good drinks, and then for good movies, for good entertainment, and then since money can buy these sense objects, so the greed also wants to get money. So we say, how much money would be enough for you? So the Buddha said, the whole wealth on earth cannot satisfy one man's greed. And the Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian independence leader, he is a Hindu, but he understands the Buddhism to understand. Just like Nehru, the Prime Minister, he worshipped the Buddha. He admired the Buddha very much. Now, Mahatma Gandhi said, this world has enough for everyone, for everyone's need, but not enough for one man's greed. That's very correct. Very correct. So if we all live together just like brothers and sisters, and would share whatever we have together, we have enough, but not enough for one man's greed. Not just like the emperor, they like to get the whole world. So that is greed. So we are under the influence of greed all the time. We don't know. Not just like in Myanmar. This Lopa is a Myanmar word. It became a Myanmar word. And the same thing with the next two, dosa, moha. But I don't know whether you have this in Indonesian words. You don't have. So now you know why everybody is very greedy to get so much money. So as the greed will never be satisfied, however much you get, you have to walk the whole life. So people are walking the whole life. Though they are very rich, they cannot stop. So they cannot meditate. And they don't know, because of this greed, after death they will be born in the woeful state. And the woeful state means in the woeful abodes. Woeful abodes. They are woeful abodes, animal world, and the hungry ghost, and we call the demons, they are the bigger ghosts, and hells. So these are the woeful abodes. The next word is dosa, anger, hatred, ill will. Now you all are smiling. It seems you are all very good-natured. But as soon as mosquito bites you, what happens? You get angry and you smash it. You smash it. So why do you get angry? So it is anger. The Buddha said this dosa arises in your mind, you get angry. So this when you become angry, you become blind. You may even kill your lovers and yourself. Actually, So the dosa is the most destructive element, the Buddha said. And the next word is moha. We call ignorance or delusion. So when we say ignorance, we are ignorant of the true nature of the sense objects. Just we said, living beings and animate things really exist. That's what we think. And we see like that because we are blinded by this ignorance. We are blinded by this ignorance. We cannot see the components. We cannot see the components. And we cannot see the ultimate component that we call the ultimate realities, which are arising and dissolving very rapidly. And it is because we are blinded by this moha. We do not know our past existences, and we don't know what will happen after death. That means we don't know the future existences. And again, it is this moha, not that blinds us. So when it blinds us not to see the true nature of sense objects, we get the wrong vision. No, not the true vision, the wrong vision. So we say, oh, no, men, women, no, really exist. Oh, no, those men are very handsome. Oh, those ladies are very beautiful. No? So when you see like that, so no, you enjoy watching the movies, no, the concert, etc. So you want to get these beautiful things, beautiful things. So that is the greed. The greed wants to get them because the moha gives the vision that it is beautiful. So actually, no person is beautiful. So, but when you learn Abhidhamma, so many of your ideas becomes not correct. You can see. You think you are most beautiful in the world. You are most beautiful in the world, you think. So the Buddha said, nobody is beautiful. So you take even the Miss Universe. Miss Universe is regarded to be the most beautiful person in the world. If you divide Miss Universe into 32 parts, we say, head hair, body hair, the nails, the teeth, the skin, and then like the lungs, the heart, the livers, and then also the excrement, and the urine, and the pus, the blood. So if you examine every part is very, very disgusting. So, and the saying, beauty is skin deep is correct. So the Western saying, the Western learners, they say, beauty is skin deep. So, like Miss Universe is beautiful because we are looking only on her skin. Only on her skin, the outside feature. So, we think she is very beautiful. Now, you just, with your wisdom, you can peel up the outer skin of Miss Universe. The outer skin, if you just peel it up, it amounts to only a handful, smeared with blood. So it will smell very fishy. Now you try to give all the gentlemen who loves Miss Universe. Now, this is the beauty of Miss Universe. We shall give you free of charge. Who will take it? Nobody will take it. It is really the disgusting. Disgusting. That's correct. So when you can see in this way, as taught by the Buddha, then everybody is disgusting. It's disgusting. And then we will describe later on about how the ignorance, the blindness not to see this consciousness and mental factors, they are rising and dissolving very rapidly, we say. And we cannot see them because the Buddha said our mind is blinded by this, the ignorance, the moha. And in meditation, so now if you undertake this anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing correctly, you can develop the jhana. Jhana means mental absorption. Mental absorption. Your mind remains absorbed in your meditation object for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Then you experience the greatest joy, the greatest happiness in your life, in this present life. Now at that time you can see your mind. So the Buddha, when he taught about the mind, it is not only theory. He also shows the way, the practical, how you can see yourself, this mind. The mind and the mind is made up of conscious and mental factors, and they are arising, dissolving very rapidly. Now you please look on page 24. We describe 3 beautiful mental factors. So the first one is alopa. So in Pali, if you just put a in front of lopa, it becomes alopa, and it becomes the opposite of lopa. When we say lopa is greed, greed, desire, crave, and get attached to those beautiful things. Now when you come to alopa, we say greedlessness, no greed, and no attachment, no attachment to your wealth. So you can give away your wealth freely. So we say like almsgiving. For example, our patron, we should say, the Tongario Angkasa, he spent millions of dollars to build this pagoda and all these buildings. And now today, providing us all the food, all the things, all the books. This is because of greedlessness. Greedlessness. So, usually we are living under the influence of those, the 3 evil mental factors: lopa, dosa, moha, greed, anger, and ignorance. We are just living under that. If we don't study Abhidhamma, we shall not know what is good and what is bad. Now greedlessness is good. We call generosity also. The next one, dosa, is the opposite of dosa. Dosa is anger, hatred, evil, we say. Now dosa is hatelessness, no anger, and no evil. So we say it is goodwill. And when you have the goodwill and you can control your anger, even if somebody insult you, you do not get angry. So if you do not get angry, we say you develop tolerance, forbearance, patience. So that tolerance is a very beautiful mental factor. It's also adosa. And again, this adosa, when it looks like the living beings, it wishes all living beings to be free from danger, free from mental pain, bodily pain, and then it wishes all living beings to be happy and well. Then we call it loving kindness, metta in Pali. So it is also adosa. So adosa is very beautiful. So if we can develop them, we shall be very happy, and you will be the most beautiful person if you can develop this adosa. The next one is moha. It's called wisdom or knowledge. So it is the opposite of moha, which blinds us not to know the real nature of sense objects. In the case of wisdom, it helps us to see penetratively the true nature of sense objects, to know what is good and bad, and to know the right thing to do in this life, and also to develop the wisdom, so that by the high wisdom we call the path wisdom, they can eliminate those lopa, dosa, moha totally. So by developing wisdom, then we can become noble person and join Nibbana right away in this life. Now you look the next 2 paragraphs, they are quite important. Now we say the first three, that is lopa, dosa, moha, greed, anger, ignorance, they are immoral roots. Immoral means the bad roots, the unwholesome roots. The roots of immoral minds, that is wicked minds, and the main causes of all evil actions in the whole world and all suffering in all the people. So they are the root causes of all evil actions and all suffering in the whole world. So you should be careful. You are under the influence of these lopa, dosa, moha. So long they are rising in you, you are not really happy. And you are not happy, and actually, at that time, you are developing only in moral karma that will send you to the woeful state when you die. The next paragraph, we say the next three, that the greedlessness, hatelessness, and wisdom, they are moral roots, the roots of moral minds and beautiful minds, and they are the main causes of all good actions and happiness in the whole world. So these mental factors are our good qualities and bad qualities. When we know these bad qualities, we can suppress them, not to arise in the mind, not to arise in the mind. And we can develop the beautiful, the mental factors, so that to develop beautiful minds, to perform meritorious deeds. Then you will live very wisely. Then you can also accumulate good karma, so that to be born in celestial realm again and again, and then go to Nibbana. Then we go to the next topic, that is number 3, materiality. In Pali we call rupa. Rupa is materiality. Now it is defined as that which changes form, color, or state owing to adverse. Adverse means the opposite. Physical conditions such as coolness and hotness. For example, if you take wax, if you heat it, it will melt into liquid, and when you cool it, it will be turned into solid again. Even the iron, when you heat it, it will melt, and then when you cool it down, it turns into the solid again. Now, like water can change into ice and also into vapor. So anything that can change the state of the form like that is called materiality. Now, the Buddha, he described 28 types of materiality, so which comprise 4 primary elements and 24 types of derived materiality. So we describe the 4 primary elements below for your information. So the 4 primary elements are the element of solidity, we call Patavi. The element of liquidity, Apo. And the element of heat, Tejo. And the element of motion, Vayo. They are just like energy without form and shape. Matter and energy are identical and they are interconvertible. That means matter can be changed into energy, energy can be changed into matter. So these 28 types of material described by the Buddha, describe all, they include all the materiality and energy described by science. So we say science knows only about materiality, and science does not know about the mind at all. So, as science do not know about the mind, and it knows only about materiality, so in the bottom second paragraph, so I described the statement of Albert Einstein, the great scientist who discovered atomic energy. So this Albert Einstein, he is a German Jew actually. But he understood about religion quite in detail. He knew about Christianity. He knew about Buddhism. So now he gave the statement below. Science is blind without religion, and religion is lame without science. So what he says, science is blind because it does not know about the mind, only materiality. And most religions, they are lame. They are Religion is lame without science. And now the next paragraph. Buddhism is neither lame nor blind. However, for Albert Einstein also added the statement, if there is any religion that would cope with modern scientific needs, it is Buddhism. So it is Buddhism that can go hand in hand with science. And remember, Buddhism is much higher than science, always above science. Then we go to the number 4, Nibbana. So Nibbana is given the meaning, eternal peace and bliss. Bliss means great happiness, great happiness. So Nibbana is actually the goal of Buddhism, the goal of Buddhism. Now, it is eternal peace and bliss, which is realized when the causes of all suffering and the worldly fires of greed, anger, and delusion are totally eradicated. Eradicated means totally eliminated. So we just told you, this anger, the greed, anger, and ignorance, they are the causes of all suffering. All suffering. So if you can eliminate this greed, anger, and ignorance totally from your mind, then we say you will realize Nibbana. You can enjoy the unique peace and happiness of Nibbana right away in this life. Even in this life, if you meditate very well. So with the understanding of this Abhidhamma, then you can do it, you can attain Nibbana. On page 25, so there you can read the extinction of greed, the extinction of anger, the extinction of delusion. This is called Nibbana.